good news or bad news?
Not what I expected, hey?
No?
Nah.
Good or bad?
A bit less windy over here. G'day guys, Cam Wild Touring. We're on a family van trip. We're heading down to Denmark. We've stopped roughly halfway. We're just out of Kogenup at a little free camp we found on wiki camps called
Boscabel Hall?
Yeah.
I think it's an old, is this an old school site?
It is, there was a plaque over there. It said 1912 to 1942, something like that.
Yeah.
That sort of era. Old school site.
Old abandoned building. You can't actually look inside it, but there is quite an open area at the back of it. You can park your vans up. We're the only ones here. Yeah,
we're hoping we're not the only ones here because this is the local Kogenup burnout pit or anything like that. But we'll find out tonight.
Yeah. Free camp, no facilities, I don't think.
I think there's a toilet block.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was an outhouse for this or if it's a dunny block for free camping.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, anyway, this will do us. We're out of fire season and it's early summer, so we're just going to be, it's cool though down here.
Yeah, I've seen photos in the winter that it's all grassy and green out the back.
I think that might actually be like the school oval because there was a bit of a cricket pitch looking thing.
Yeah, it's pretty dry out here at the moment, but we've parked up for the afternoon. Brodie's going to have a sleep and then we'll have some dinner and that'll be us Denmark tomorrow. Yeah,
we're just breaking up the drive. Anyway, we started this video I think with some footage of us with the car and the van on the Weighbridge. We will chat about the weights and stuff a little bit later in the video. I want to get the paperwork in front of me to make sure I've got it all correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, the video was to chat about the weights and also a little bit of a chat about how the car goes towing the van. It's a little bit of a shakedown trip, I guess.
Yeah.
Having said that, this is probably the third trip we've actually done with the new car towing the van. But they've both been sort of shorter trips.
Yeah.
Staying in caravan parks and stuff like that. And it's just sort of boring family stuff.
Yeah, we didn't film any of that. It was over Christmas time, so we went down to Busselton for a week. We went and spent a week at your folks' house. So.
Your brother's place down south.
Yeah.
We've been poking around the southwest a bit.
Yeah, and even this trip that we're doing now, I don't know how much you'll see of us in Denmark.
Yeah, I'll show a little bit, but yeah, we'll see how we go.
Yeah. So anyway, this is another family sort of trip. We're spending time with my sister and the cousins. So
yeah. Chloe's got two little cousins. One's the same age as her, and one's a couple of years older. And
a ladybug.
You got a ladybug?
Yeah.
Nice. And yeah, they just go feral, running around on slides and playgrounds and swings and
you've got your new toy with you?
Yeah. I am a man-sized child with a scooter. Anyway, let's finish getting set up.
Yeah.
It's been really windy, so we're probably just going to let Brodie have a sleep and have a bit of a cook up and then retire inside the van and go from there.
Yeah.
So funny that she's on this thing more than us now. When I told her I wanted to buy an e-scooter, we went down to Busselton, like we said a few weeks ago, family trip, and they had those hire scooters all over the foreshore, and Chloe and I hired one and we rode down to Busselton foreshore, didn't we? And it was wicked, we loved it, so we decided we want to get one. And as you'll find out, I had the payload left in the car to be able to get one. So Tiff said it was the dumbest idea and that I'm a man-sized, I'm talking trash about you, and that I'm a man-sized child and that I don't need one and all the rest of it. She's loving the thing, I can't get her off it. Hey?
Well, the thing is, it's a selfish toy. It's not.
Yeah, selfish for you because you won't give me a go.
It's not a family-friendly toy. Where do you put the children?
Chloe's been on this thing with me flat out.
Yeah, but Brodie, like, it's a selfish toy, but it is pretty cool.
Yeah. Anyway, if you're wondering, it's a 9-bot Segway G2 Max, and they're stupid expensive. It was like $1,300 or something. But I wanted something with suspension that could handle my larger stature.
But I think you bought the last one in Perth because you decided you wanted it yesterday before we left, and you had to drive 50 k's from our house to pick it up.
No, it was so much more than that.
Was it?
I drove from our place to Midland, back to our place to Ocean Keys. It was like, I did like 200 k's to get a scooter. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's wicked and I love it. Hey.
We've had lots of questions about comfort in the car, how it tows, how it compares to the D-Max, all of that type of stuff. I think it's 100% better than the D-Max.
We're 3,000 k's in, 3,500 k's in.
Yeah.
And so it hasn't had its first major service or anything. It's had a 1,000 k checkup. It is more comfortable. There's heaps of leg room. There's heaps of armour in between us. Is it comfortable in the back for you kids?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there more room than the last car or same?
More.
More?
More room.
Yeah.
There definitely is, because if you look at the back here, when you've got the 2 kids in either seat, you can fit a full-size adult between there. And heaps of leg room. Leg room's not a problem at all.
Yeah, and with the doggo, having the doggo in the back now and not between the kids is just heaps better as well.
Yeah.
Anyway, so much more comfortable, like seating position and stuff. Tiff, I love the black roof.
Yeah.
It just makes you feel like you're in like a dark, comfortable cave. I don't know. It's like a teenager's bedroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good.
But yeah, comfort is really good.
Yeah.
And then power as well. Like you can get tows miles better.
Yeah, I think it's the gearing. It doesn't, on paper, it doesn't make like a huge amount more power than my D-Max did. My D-Max was tuned fairly hard, I guess. So this doesn't make a heap more power on paper, but it feels noticeably more powerful, hey?
I think so too.
Yeah. Like,
and you don't feel the van on the back like you did with the
no, it doesn't.
D-Max.
It doesn't. Even though and again, this is weird because this car is lighter than the D-Max.
3 ton was the
D-Max was 3 ton. Oh no, this car's slightly heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna go through weights. Don't worry. This car's slightly heavier.
Just teasing it out.
No, I just want to have the proper weights in front of me, but they're in the van and Brodie's sleeping. Yeah. So yeah, it doesn't seem, the van doesn't seem to push the car around.
Yeah.
Up hills and stuff, you don't notice it. I think because there's more gears, it's not like smashing back gears and revving really hard. On that note, the engine and the wheels and the driveline and everything's very quiet. It's quite a nice, it's not a fatiguing driving experience.
No.
It's very comfortable.
I remember with the D-Max, when you were talking about revs, it would rev so high, and remember it would reach a point where you're like, is it ever going to get into gear?
Yeah.
And then it would finally kick down, but you don't even feel the gears with this car.
But there's twice as many gears. So this is a 10 speed, that was a 5 speed. The 6 speed D-Max may be an improvement, I don't know. Yeah, so anyway, we're loving the thing. The only thing I can knock is, we've banged on about it a bit now, but the wind noise from the roof rack sucks. But that's me that's added it, and I will be able to get it sorted, I think. Otherwise, I'll just get rid of it and put something else on there. So it's not a big issue.
And we definitely know it's fixable because we drove the car around heaps before we had the roof rack on, and there was no noise. So it definitely is that.
Oh yeah, even with the tyres and everything. The tyres are, these Yokohamas are very quiet. I haven't noticed any road noise or anything from them, even though they're quite an aggressive tread. So I'm quite happy with them so far. See how they wear though. Yeah, I haven't got any like solid fuel figures for you because we've just done so much mixed driving, but we're getting, look, really roughly, and I'll do a proper test for you. Maybe after the first 10 or 20,000 or the first year or something, I'll talk about how much oil it's used and what sort of economy we're getting over a longer distance. But very roughly, we're using around 12-13 litres per 100 around town. I'm doing stop-start stuff, like just normal sort of home life stuff. And towing the van, we're using around 22. I think today was a bit more. I think we used around 24.
I just took a photo of it. I was going to put a story up. I think it was 22.4.
Oh, was it? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So it's still around 22.
Yeah.
That's going by the computer.
Yeah.
But I have done it at the Bowser as well, and it's very close. It's pretty much bang on.
Yeah, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, 22 is awesome. Yeah. The D-Max in comparison was using around 11 around town and around 17 towing the same van. So it's a little bit more. And we've got about the same fuel capacity. So the range is slightly shorter on this car. So we'll probably end up getting a long range tank for this car, and then we'll have more range than the D-Max had. So yeah, it's all going to work out. Loving it.
Yeah, really happy.
Yeah. Happy, Chloe? Oh, Chloe loves the D-Max. Every time we're going to go for a drive somewhere.
The 300.
Sorry, Chloe loves the 300. Every time we're going to go for a drive somewhere, she's like, can we take a 300? Don't you? Yeah.
But there are some things you don't like. What are the things you don't like?
Oh, you're going.
I don't like how this is squashed down.
She doesn't like the leather look of that because it's like creased and leathery looking.
And it's all squashed down.
And creased and stuff, eh?
I love having cup holders.
Yep.
Awesome.
Heaps of arm room, wicked. The infotainment is awesome with Apple CarPlay and mapping.
Yeah, it's so
and
good. Yeah.
So handy. So we can have split screen. Look, people probably know all this stuff, but it's so new to us. You can have split screen Spotify and maps up on at the same time, which is wicked.
The dual zone aircon that I spoke about, I haven't even had to use it yet. I don't know why.
Nah, because we wouldn't. It's so stupid. They'd be fighting each other anyway. It's such a small
I
space.
just turn my vents off.
But the aircon works well.
Yeah. Yeah, what else didn't you like?
I don't like that it's so hard. Like hard to get up.
Yeah.
Oh, you need side steps, hey?
Yeah.
Daddy will sort some out for you. But yeah, oil use, I don't know. It's just going to go to the mechanic when it's ready for a service and they'll fill it up. I haven't been topping up oil or having to carry 44-gallon drums around with me, as someone in the comments suggested I'd have to.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked at it, and there's no warnings or anything on the dash.
Yeah.
If I was going to do a big remote trip, I'd check, you know, the oil dipstick before I left. But for these kinds of trips and just normal stuff, I'm not checking. I'm just going to wait till it's due for a service.
The DPF burns, there's been a lot. There's been a lot of them.
Yeah.
And we did do one. Well, there's been a few with the van on, and because we've got the full stone stomper, I did get out of the car once when it was doing the burn, and it was super hot.
Yeah.
And I have heard from some people that it can burn a hole in your stone stomper. So
yeah,
we are gonna. You are going to.
Yeah.
Do something.
I don't want a full exhaust system. There's just no point on this vehicle. I'm not going to tune it for some time. Certainly not. No plans too soon while it's in its new car warranty and stuff. So I'm just, rather than putting a full exhaust system on, it would just be a pointless expense. I'm just going to do a tip, like a bit of a dump, like a 45 or a 90 degree, probably a 45 I guess. So I'll go to an exhaust shop and just get one tacked on, welded on, and that'll direct that hot air away from the stone stomper. And the tech, we were a little bit sort of unsure, maybe uncomfortable of what to expect with all the technology, because there's a lot in this coming from the vehicles we've come from. You know, the radar stuff and the lane trace assist and all that kind of stuff. It's been fine. I turn off the lane. Yeah, I turn off the lane trace assist every time I jump in the car.
Yeah. I've left it on a few occasions when I've just been travelling around the house, you know, shopping and whatnot. And I did go through some roadworks and it did try and veer me off because I had to switch lanes. But it doesn't force you across the lane. It just gives you a tug,
like
and
a nudge.
You can sort of fight back.
Yeah. I just turn it off, like I just look at it like it's the starting procedure for the vehicle. Instead of putting a handbrake down, because this has got an electric handbrake, no physical handbrake, I press the lane trace assist button and switch that off instead. You know, it's just a different part of that daily routine. But
that gets me every time. The car, the thing.
Looking for a handbrake.
Like today when I parked the car up, I went to turn the ignition off with the key.
Oh, yeah.
It gets me every time.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
What were you gonna say?
With this car, you don't have to put the keys in. The keys just have to be near you in your pocket while you're driving.
Yeah.
And if a stranger comes in while you're at the shops or anything, the stranger can't get in the car and drive off, because you need the keys to put your keys need to be near you.
Yeah. It's pretty handy. Yeah. So yeah, the tech doesn't scare us anymore. Yeah, it's fine. It's a non-issue.
Yeah, for now.
Oh yeah,
until we start getting
sensors,
codes and all of that stuff, which I'm sure will happen. But
that's why we'll do a follow-up video, 10,000, 20,000, 1 year, something like that, and we'll chat about codes and sensors and DPFs and any other, you know, oil consumption, any issues we have, if we have them. Hopefully not.
Yeah, but yeah, early days, really good, comfortable, tows the van well. I think it's going to be a good thing for our big trip next year.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get the cooker out and all the rest of it, make some dinner, and then we'll come back and chat about weights and stuff later.
We got a yummy dinner tonight.
Oh yeah, we do.
Is she gonna get you out? He took Kitty to bed.
Oh, did you?
You sneaky.
So before we left Perth, we stopped in at our local butcher in Jandakot, Ryan's Quality Meats, and we grabbed a couple of things. That'll do us for a couple of nights. Chicken palmies. I think tonight I might do... What am I going to do tonight, Tiff? I'll do a steak for me. I'll do satay skewers for you and Chloe.
Yeah, I don't know if we need the sausages tonight.
Should we cook them?
Save them for another night.
Oh, we'll do those another night.
Skewers and steak.
So we'll get the zig out and we'll get that going. I don't know how this barbie is going to go in full wind. It's probably going to get blown out. Why is it? Oh, is there a bug in here already? Beetle. Gross. Protein. So we're in Denmark. We're staying at the Big 4 caravan park in town, and massive big open space, big sites. It's quite nice. For school holidays it doesn't feel too busy. Anyway, while we've been down here I haven't filmed too much, but we've just been doing the usual, the breweries, the beaches, letting the kids burn off some energy in the playgrounds. Tiff right now is actually taking the kids to like an animal feeding thing, so that's why I thought I'd seize this opportunity and I'd sit down with you guys and have a bit of a chat about the weights of the car and the van. So I've got my paperwork. As you saw, I took the car and the van over the Weighbridge. What you probably can't see, but I'll explain to you, is that we were absolutely fully loaded. So the weights that I've got include the entire family, the kids' seats, Percy, the van is loaded, the fridge was full, the pantry's full, there's enough food for weeks. 200 litres of water on board, the fuel tank on the car was full, kids' bikes, scooters, heaps of clothes, camera gear, everything. So absolutely fully loaded, everything that we would travel with for any period of time. And I'll chat about my weights specifically, and I'll also just chat about what some of the acronyms mean, because I know there's a little bit of confusion about that, and I've explained it in previous videos, but I'll explain it again using my figures, and we'll go from there. So anyway, car and the caravan have gone over the Weighbridge. Now, here's the weights. I'll put them on the screen now. So you can see the GVM, the gross vehicle mass of the car there. The weight is transferred to the floor through your front and your rear axle. So we've got two separate weights there, and together those make up your GVM, your gross vehicle mass, which was 3440 kilos, 3.4 tonne. Moving across from there, you've got your tow ball mass. So that is the weight of the tow ball. Now, the GVM, the 3440 kilos, is including that tow ball mass, because when the van's hitched onto the back of the car, that weight is bearing down onto the vehicle, and so the GVM, when I'm hitched up, includes that tow ball mass. The next two weights you can see off the bottom of the caravan there, coming off the axle group on the caravan, are the GTM, gross trailer mass, and that was 2,840 kilos. So if you drop down from there, you can see the ATM, the aggregate trailer mass. That is the GTM plus the TBM. So it's the gross weight of the caravan when it was hitched up, plus the tow ball mass is going to give you the ATM, the aggregate trailer mass of the caravan. So just imagine the caravan is unhitched and it's sitting on its jockey wheel. The weight is going to be transferred through the floor, through the axle groups, through the wheels, and also through the jockey wheel, which is the tow ball mass. So that's why those two things together give you the overall trailer mass, or the aggregate trailer mass, of 3.1 tonne for our van. All of those weights together, the GVM plus the GTM, give you your gross combined mass. So the weight of the car plus the weight of the caravan gives you your gross combined mass, and I was 6.28 tonne. Now those weights are good for my circumstances because I've got a Pedders GVM upgrade already done. If I didn't, I'd be in a bit of strife, and I'll explain that in a minute. But with the Pedders GVM upgrade, that gave me a 4090 kilo GVM for the car, an increase of 810 kilos payload by fitting that GVM upgrade. So I'll show you on this next slide where we would have been overweight on the vehicle if we didn't have the GVM upgrade. The front axle still would have been fine, we'd be 130 kilos under, but the rear axle would be 10 kilos over. So the factory rear axle load limit for the 300 series is 1930 kilos. Look, 10 kilos is bugger all. I could have moved weight out of the back of the car to get that, or even change the tow ball mass slightly, how much weight's on the front end of the caravan, to move that 10 kilos so that we wouldn't exceed the rear axle load limit. That's easy, but you can see the problem beneath there with the GVM. The gross vehicle mass of 3440 is 160 kilos over anyway. So the 10 kilos over on the rear axle is a problem, but it's not the big issue. The big issue for my weights was going to be the GVM. We're going to be 160 kilos over, and that's far too much mass to move. That's basically the entire drawer system, the fridge, the battery system, and all the contents of the drawer. So I'd basically have an empty boot to be legal. And that's the reality of a lot of these wagons. Setting them up for a touring build, it's so easy to go over GVM. So you can see there why we needed the GVM upgrade. I'll show you one more slide with our GVM upgrade. So this is the Pedders 4090 kilo GVM upgrade. It increased the rear axle capacity to 2,240 kilos. And as you can see on the picture of the car there, front axle now has got 350 kilos of fat. The rear axle's got 300 kilos extra, and the GVM we're 650 kilos under. So you can see everything's in green there. With the Pedders GVM Upgrade, our weights are awesome. Moving along, the tow ball mass at 260 kilos, we're at about 8% of the ATM. So generally speaking, tow ball mass, most people agree that you want somewhere between 8 and 12% of the weight of your caravan should be on your tow ball. I'm at 8%, so I'm at the sort of bottom end of that, which is probably still reasonable. I would like to get a smidge more weight on the front of the caravan there, just to increase that tow ball mass a little bit. But, you know, maybe I'll put a kid's bike rack or something on there. I might swap out those 4 kilo gas bottles for some 9 kilos, which would be a bit easier to get refills and exchanges as we're traveling anyway. There's a few options there. It is fine as it is. It's totally legal and it tows beautifully, but I would like a smidge more weight on the front, so we'll look at that later. The Caravan weighing in at 3.1 tonne. The ATM for this Caravan, we had already done an ATM upgrade through the factory with Willow when we ordered this Caravan. So our ATM is 3.4 tonnes, so we're 300 kilos under there. And then the gross combined mass, car and Caravan, the total setup weighed in at 6.28 tonne, so we're 470 kilos under. And that now is going to be the limitation for us. Yeah, we got 650 kilos more we could put in the car, but we've only got 470 kilos until we hit GCM. So that's our limiting factor now, and that's fine. We're really, really thrilled with that. I probably thought we were going to be a little bit closer to GCM. I'm absolutely stoked being nearly 500 kilos under. So now there's other things that I can add that I wanted to. I've sort of done all the things that I thought I needed to do to set this car and caravan up for traveling. Now there's the things that I want to do that I should be able to do. So an inflatable boat, an outboard motor for that boat, an extra water tank on the van, a long range fuel tank in the car, all sorts of stuff now that we'll be able to do. Probably not all of those things together. I'll do bits and pieces and keep taking the car and caravan over the Weighbridge and make sure that we definitely have a little bit of fat left. We don't want to run right on the limit, because then it's too easy to go over if you do a massive shop or whatever. So there you go. Absolutely wrapped with the way that all panned out. I reckon the weights are awesome. And you can see why the GVM upgrade was absolutely essential for making those weights work. But the other things that the GVM upgrade does is drastically improves the handling of the vehicle when it is loaded up with weight, because the suspension that the vehicle comes with out of the factory is designed to be comfortable for when you pick up the car and it's empty, with a little bit of load carrying capacity. You throw a few things in there, a family in there, a bit of luggage, and it should handle okay. If you load it right up to factory GVM, or you exceed factory GVM, and you want it to perform well on and off road, at speed, on corrugations, twisty turny stuff, stuff where the shocks are cycling, moving up and down, you know, at a rapid rate, it's just not going to handle very well. So the GVM upgrade, as well as giving me the extra weight carrying capacity legally, it also improves the handling a hell of a lot. So it does handle really well. A few people have asked me if it's a lot firmer to drive. Of course it is, it has to be. This had a GVM done pre-reg, so when I picked it up, the car was absolutely empty. It was, the car was relatively light, and it had springs in it that were capable of carrying, you know, another 1,600 kilos of payload or something around there. So you can imagine that, yeah, it definitely is firmer. It needs to be able to handle all that extra weight, but you wouldn't be fitting a GVM upgrade if you weren't planning to be, you know, adding quite a lot of weight to your car. There wouldn't really be a need for it. So yeah, it definitely rides a little bit firmer. But if a GVM upgrade is done properly by someone who knows what they're doing, like the guys that I see at Pedders, then they'll work out what spring rate you need for the amount of gear that you're going to be carrying or whatever you're towing, and they'll get that right. There's different springs that are available. There's airbags and stuff like that. There's different, depending on what you're doing, how much you're loading in your car, and what you're towing, there's different options. So there's not like a one option that's going to suit absolutely everyone, and that's why you need to speak to someone who knows what they're doing. So that's Pedders is who I go to, and I'm really happy with them. So really happy with the suspension, really happy with how the car's towing overall, tows beautifully. We're really happy with the van at the moment. We've sort of fixed all the issues that we had with it, and everything's working really well. I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to fire up the barbie, and by the time Tiff and the kids get back, we're having chicken parmesanas for dinner, and then we're going to pack up and get back. Tiff's going to go back to work in a couple of days. So there we go. Thanks guys, thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you got something out of this, and I'll see you next week in another video. Cheers. Alright kids, wrestling match is well underway. Enough. Wife's cracked it, and it's time to cook some dinner.
I don't feel lucky, man. Why can't I feel what I know? Still ain't got what I wanted, man. Same car,
and that blow flies back. So I'm gonna wrap this up.